Most people believe failure comes from bad luck. Winners know something darker. Failure is usually protected by excuses. If you are listening to this, you are not here for comfort. You are here for clarity. Because excuses feel harmless, they sound reasonable, they even feel intelligent. But excuses quietly remove power from your life. You are listening to Path of Power. And before we go deeper, understand this clearly. This is not motivation. This is awareness. Winners do not win because they are more confident. They win because they refuse to lie to themselves. Excuses are self-deception with a calm voice. They explain why action didn't happen, why discipline failed, why consistency disappeared. And the mind accepts them easily because excuses reduce discomfort. The human brain is wired to avoid pain, not to seek growth. This is why excuses feel natural and responsibility feels heavy. But power has always belonged to those who accept weight. From a psychological perspective, excuses serve one purpose. They protect identity. Instead of saying, "I didn't prepare," the mind says, "I didn't have time." Instead of saying, "I was afraid," the mind says, "It wasn't the right moment." This preserves self-image, but destroys self-authority. Winners understand this pattern early. They notice that every excuse gives relief in the moment and weakness in the long term. And they choose differently. Not loudly, not emotionally. Quietly. The most powerful shift a person can make is replacing explanation with ownership. Ownership does not mean self-punishment, it means clarity. When you say, "This happened because of me," the brain immediately searches for solutions. When you say, "This happened because of circumstances," the brain goes passive. Passivity is the enemy of power. Excuses train the nervous system to wait. Responsibility trains it to act. This is why winners move faster, not physically, mentally. They do not waste energy defending their ego. They spend it adjusting their behavior. Another uncomfortable truth: excuses are often social tools. People bond over excuses. They validate each other's limitations. "I didn't have time." Same here. "I was tired." "I get it." This creates emotional safety, but not growth. Winners understand that growth is rarely socially rewarded at first. Discipline makes others uncomfortable. Consistency exposes comparison. So winners stop explaining themselves. They don't argue, they don't justify. They simply act repeatedly. Silence is a powerful signal. When someone stops making excuses, they also stop seeking approval, and approval is one of the biggest drains of personal power. The need to be understood keeps people small. Winners would rather be misunderstood and effective than understood and stagnant. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. The psychology is simple. What you explain, you weaken. What you accept, you control. Excuses externalize control. Ownership internalizes it. And the mind always follows the direction of control. Notice how calm this realization feels. There is no pressure, only clarity. You may already feel resistance softening. That is the ego stepping aside. Winners don't fight their ego. They stop feeding it excuses. Another truth few people admit: excuses become identity over time. Someone who repeatedly says, "I'm unlucky," eventually lives as if luck controls them. Someone who says, "I'm busy," eventually avoids priorities. Language shapes perception. Perception shapes behavior. Winners are careful with their internal language. They replace excuses with neutral observations. Instead of "I couldn't," they say, "I didn't." That single shift restores power. "I didn't" implies choice, and choice implies control. Control calms the nervous system. This is why disciplined people appear calm under pressure. They don't waste energy on denial. They face reality early, when it is still manageable. Most people wait till consequences force awareness. Winners choose awareness first. There is no drama in this process. Power is quiet. As you listen, allow this idea to settle without judgment. This is not about perfection. It is about honesty. Honesty with yourself is the highest form of dominance. You cannot control the world, but you can control your response to it. Excuses pretend the world must change first. Winners change first. Another psychological insight: the brain respects consistency more than intensity. Making excuses breaks consistency. Even small excuses compound into identity erosion, but small acts of ownership compound into authority. Authority over self creates confidence naturally. Confidence is not forced, it emerges. This is why winners do not chase motivation, they rely on systems. Systems don't make excuses, they execute. When you remove excuses, your mind becomes quieter. Less negotiation, less internal conflict. Sleep improves, focus improves. Power feels stable instead of emotional. If this clarity resonates with you, subscribe to Path of Power. This channel exists for those who value calm strength, self-control, and psychological clarity. Now return your attention inward. Notice how nothing here demanded urgency. No pressure, no hype, just truth. Truth settles the mind. Winners don't rush. They don't complain. They don't explain. They adjust. And adjustment is the purest form of intelligence. Let the words continue drifting. You don't need to analyze them now. Your subconscious understands. Excuses dissolve when awareness rises, and awareness is power. You are allowed to rest now. Power does not require tension. It requires alignment. And alignment is quiet.